James, and on this Jurassic James Explains, we're looking at Sauropelta. Now, same rules apply, older to younger or newer model. And I want to first start off with my 2013 Safari Sauropelta. When I first saw this animal, this figure, I was super excited. I bought it instantly because I had not had one. These are very rare species as far as toys go, models go. So the first thing I'm going to point out is the name Sauropelta means lizard shield. Now, I like to imagine a shielded lizard, but the idea is that it's Sauro, lizard, Pelta, shield, so, there it goes. But this guy is awesome because, first of all, the armor is just right. They actually found one in situ. And what that basically means is when they found the fossil, it wasn't jumbled up. Sometimes you find these ankylosaurids, and they may die and get kind of washed somewhere, and they're kind of, the armor's kind of moved around because the armor's in the skin. It's called what we call osteoderms. So it's actually bone in the skin. So sometimes when it dies, it gets kind of moved around. So we find it fossilized, it's not quite in order. But with the one they found, it actually had everything like in order, which is really cool. Sauropelta was first discovered by Barnum Brown actually in 1930s, early 30s. And yes, the same Barnum Brown, T-Rex, that guy. So basically what's going on is that you can see the armor here on the shoulders like that. And then there's all these osteoderms here in the skin and these really big triangular ones on the tail. Now the tail that they found, the most complete tail they found, had 40 vertebrae, but it wasn't complete. They didn't have all of the vertebrae, so there's probably more than 40 vertebrae here, but it's a long tail. Now, the first thing people see these guys and think, wait, where's the club? And here's a big point. In the ankylosaurid group, actually you can go further back. So we have dinosaurs, and we have the bigger group, Dinosauria, and then subgroups. The Thyrea-4 means shield bearers. That's the ankylosaurs and actually the Stegosaurus. So Stegosaurus is kind of its own family, basically, but it has shield as an armor on its back here. Within the Thyrea-4, there's two main branches, the Stegosaurus and the ankylosaurids. In the ankylosaurs, there are two branches. So the ones that we all know and love, like for example, Ankylosaurus, this guy is literally the family namesake, and is known for this giant club. And the idea is that this is pretty common in that branch of Ankylosaurid because Ankylosaurus has it, Uplocephalus has the same club, and in Asia we have Finchia, because these two are North America, this is from Asia, so they have a club, very clear, very understood. Different armor alignments, different time periods sometimes, well they're all Cretaceous, but different times in the Cretaceous period. On the other branch are we call the Nodosaurs, Nodosaurus, Nodosaurs. So the idea is Nodosaurs have no club. And in general, we have one called Gastonia. Seeing here, Gastonia should give its own video, but I only have one figure, so I'm waiting to find more than one before I review it. And Edmontonia, who's very popular, I would say one of the most popular nodosaurs of all. And of course, Sauropelta. So in general, the ankylosaurs we know, most of these guys are late Cretaceous period. The nodosaurs are early Cretaceous period. So in some ways, it's almost as if in our timeline, the Stegosaurus, actually the earliest ankylosaurs were like early Jurassic, but they were far few in between. There's less other fossils. But as far as the big groups go, you have the Stegosaurus first, the Nodosaurus, and then the Ankylosaurus. Now bear in mind, Uplocephalus, Edmontonia live with Ankylosaurus, so they're contemporaries. But as far as designs go, we see this, and this. So the idea is that this armor is more forward-facing, so it's as if the Nodosaurs are defending against predators that you're looking forward. If you ever see a skeleton, not if, you see a skeleton of these, any of these guys, their humerus bone, the upper arm has a big ridge right there for muscle attachment to kind of turn and pivot, so they're on all four and they're turning like this. So the idea is that they're actually to fight off their predator. But by the time you get to the Ankylosaurus, they're just using these giant clubs here, a mace. So anyway, so Sauropelta in general, this model is really great because it has all four digits, the fingers basically, and then the 4 toes. What's really cool about that is we often don't find toe bones of many dinosaurs. They wash away, they get scavenged or whatever, they're smaller bones. So to have the right number is really important. People often find it weird that they have 5 on top and 4 on the bottom. But alligators today have 5 fingers and 4 toes, and frogs have 4 fingers and 5 toes. So it's a thing. We are primates, so we're kind of assuming you're a human watching this. So the idea is that we have 5 and 5. That works for us because of our evolutionary line, but whatever, right? So this guy is, in my opinion, a most perfect example of this animal. I've seen other models of it, like the PNSO model, but like I said, this is like really great. So in the fact that this is a not generic, but a normal safari figure, that's kind of a big deal. Next we have the Jurassic World, and I again can't stop praising the Jurassic World line, that they're not scientifically accurate, but they're just putting out more dinosaurs. That's pretty marked, you know. Anyway, so the idea here is that this guy, if you take it, you can switch like this, and that kind of is a play function, reminding me of the idea of them able to turn and twist kind of thing. But in general, you're seeing the same number of armor pieces, like the really big pieces along here, the first three, the two big ones here, first three, two big ones here. The armor on the tail we see on this one isn't quite there, but the idea is that they're hinting at it. So, you know, if anything, my first assumption would be, oh, it's like a juvenile. I mean, not intentionally, but I would perceive it as a collector, as a juvenile in Sauropelta, because the armor's not as big, but the shoulder blades are huge, so no. But again, the idea is that this animal is, I like that this kind of segmented like this, like the neck and the head, even though it doesn't really move that, well, it does move, cool. But the idea is that their armor, with these bands of armor on their body, where the ornithopod, the duckbills, they were just faster. The ankylosaurs just got slower, and they didn't, you know, they rather fight off or, you know. Next to sauropod, long necks, the Thyreophora, Stegosaurus, and Ankylosaurs are the next least large brain dinosaurs. I'm gonna say dumber, but they're, you know, they have smaller brains. So their thing isn't, you know, in general, your job is to eat, sleep, poop, and make more of your species. So you don't really have to do a lot of calculus in that lifestyle. So this guy's proven pretty well in that sense. The paper first described Sauropelta, it's about the size of a rhinoceros. The most common estimate, like 17 feet long. There's some that are bigger than that, bigger than that, but overall, because we don't have the entire skeleton, so we can't say for sure, but overall 17 feet long, as far as mass goes, think rhinoceros plus, you know, tail. So again, really good model here. It shows all the features I like. Unfortunately, it does have 4 toes, but only has 5 fingers, so that's unfortunate. But the next guy here is, of course, a repaint. And I remember seeing it in stores for quite a while, and I said, finally, I was having a weird day. I said, you know what? Treat yourself. Sauropelta. So I'm going to have now the official scissors of Jurassic James, and I cut this guy. I don't know, is this unboxing? This is not really, to me, it's not unboxing, but I was told by people who love me to do more of this kind of stuff on the videos. If this is something that you guys like, let me know in the comments, or if you don't, I can just pre-open it before I do the video. So, same exact model, just a repaint. Now, I told you as a kid, when I would play with my figures in the backyard, I would often make, you know, pretend that the ones that were like duller colors were female, because in many bird species, we see the females have duller colors because they're hiding with the offspring, whereas the males would have brighter colors to attract mates like that. In general, with many reptile groups, with many bird groups, reptile groups, the size of the male or female could differ. This we call sexual dimorphism, that the males may be bigger or females may be bigger. But in general, like if I were, you know, 9-year-old James in the backyard, I would make this the female, it's the male, just because, you know. But again, your own thing. I had a coworker the other day make a joke like, do you still play with your figures? And I actually said, no, well, this is my play. This is the review. I wish I did, I don't. But the idea is that if I have the entire ecology. I have frogs and lizards and fish, and, you know. Anyway, so there we have this guy, same information, same design, it's just different color. Now, speaking of ecology, who did it live with? Think early Cretaceous North America, particularly Montana, Utah, well, Montana, Wyoming, and probably Utah. But animals that we have toys of that are in the same time is Tenontosaurus, which is an iguanodont cousin known for its long tail, Tenontosaurus tendon like this. Another very famous relative, contemporary, not relative, is Deinonychus, the raptor. So I chose this one because they're both safari, so they're like neighbors. And then another one, as far as relative scale goes, because this guy should be bigger, the Acrocanthosaurus, which as a Texan, if you don't know, this is the state fossil of Oklahoma, but the footprints we find in Glen Rose, Texas, and other parts of Austin Hill Country are from, we think, this guy too. So this is our early Cretaceous group. Now, there are some Titanosaurs, some long necks in this area, but the toys, there are no toys of them, so just imagine like a Brachiosaurus looking thing. But that's the environment, that's the ecology of this guy. And in general, that is Sauropelta. Now, it's a really cool animal, and like I said, I love the osteoderms. Now, the one thing the Jurassic World toy does is that they just have simple ones in these rows here. But what we do see in the in situ skeleton in the museum in New York is that there's actually more, like, I want to say it's still in lines, but there's more osteoderms, there's more scutes in the armor. So that's something to me that's really important. Whereas this one, you know, it's a toy. This is a model to me. This is a toy. This is meant to be played with. This is meant to be appreciated, right? So that's why I like this guy a lot too. And again, these are my Sauropeltas, and I'm sticking to that. That being said, this is the last video of 2021. And Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and all the things. For the remember, I'm doing videos once a week from April to April. So this is my dinosaur, my toy video reviews have been once a week ever since then. The times I've been late, I've actually I still did the video, just uploaded it. So you got the full number. There'll be 52 videos by April. But the idea here is that I think for January, we've been doing a lot of dinosaur stuff. I'm going to do probably 4 weeks or 4 January weeks of other prehistoric creatures that are popular in paleontology, but not as much in toy world. And there are toys out there, and I want to kind of highlight them. So January would be kind of obscure invertebrate time, basically. And then February we'll pick up again with the normal dinosaur videos. In the meantime, I appreciate any likes, comments, subscribe, the bell thing, and also requests. It's always fun for me. That being said, I'll see you guys next week, and we'll talk about something cool like, let's say, trilobites.